This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, Tasmania Police remain at a fatal two-vehicle collision just north of Launceston. The crash on Lilydale Road occurred around 2:30 this afternoon, closing the road to traffic in both directions. Police have confirmed one person has died as a result of the incident. The cause is still being investigated and motorists are being urged to take Pipers River Road and Prosses Road with a reminder to drive to the conditions. A Peak medical body has slammed the Tasmanian Health Service as being plagued by a toxic bureaucratic culture within its senior management. Tasmania's Australian Medical Association has declared no confidence in the head of the THS, a move the government's labelled a dummy spit.
It's a scathing decision by the Australian Medical Association, the Tasmanian branch declaring no confidence in the senior management of Tasmania's health service.
The safety of our hospital system is at risk, and there are indicators both internally and externally that show that safety is not as good in our hospitals as 12 months ago.
AMA Tasmania says the THS has failed to deliver on reforms set down during its inception in 2015. Claims of serious complaints made by staff in the public health system as resources are stretched to their limits.
I'm really disappointed to hear about what the AMA president has said today. It doesn't help anybody. It won't help us to help patients get extra beds open.
What's clearly not working is the disconnect between the decision-making that happens at that level with the minister and what's happening on the ground in hospitals.
The minister believes the AMA has taken this action following a disagreement about moving beds from the north and northwest down to Hobart. The president denies that's the case, while both sides acknowledge a serious bed shortage in the state's capital.
The budget that will be released next week provides significant extra funding to address the issues of beds and bed access at the Royal Hobart Hospital.
While another pre-budget sweetener today, payroll incentives will soon be offered to small businesses taking on apprentices and trainees.
What this will do is provide payroll tax relief for those apprentices and trainees for up to 2 years, and importantly for young people aged 15 to 24 for up to 1 year.
The payroll tax idea is a really clever one, and it's also the first time this has been tried when an economy is growing, not shrinking. So we're really excited about this. We know our members are excited too. This will really help to grow the Tasmanian economy even further.
Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
RSL Tasmania says donations have taken a hit since a nationwide probe into the organisation began. While the local branch denies any wrongdoing, it admits its reputation has been damaged.
Today's state conference recognised the RSL's most loyal supporters, but allegations of fraud at the highest level is eroding faith in the organisation.
And we've had some people not renew their membership because of the disgusting habits of what's happened in New South Wales by a very small group of people.
Those people include former presidents and councillors in New South Wales, accused of embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars meant for veterans. Every state branch is now under investigation, and although so far no misconduct has been found here, the public is turning its back.
We heard earlier this morning that our sales are down on our Anzac Day badges, for example, where normally they're up.
Those losses cost the local branch thousands of dollars, but the organisation's national president says Tasmania has tight checks and balances owing to its small membership base.
Sometimes, the bigger you get, sometimes little things slip through the cracks, and that may be what's happened in this instance.
The task now is to rebuild the public's trust. Those receiving life membership say the organisation still helps many people and should be supported going forward.
So what's there now we need to cherish and get their stories from them so that it doesn't die with them.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
The country's leading health experts have labelled the Tasmanian diet as one of the worst in Australia. A national conference held in Hobart disclosed the state's alarming obesity rates and also stressed the importance of not missing a key vitamin.
It's not looking good for Tasmania. Our eating habits declared some of the worst in the country, hurting not just our health but our wallets.
So there's a lot of money being spent on foods that people don't need, and they're not spending that money on foods, much more nutritious foods that they do need.
Over 600 experts putting their heads together at the Dietitians Association of Australia conference in Hobart in a bid to address a nationwide epidemic.
We take that science and we convert it into really usable, understandable information for the general public.
Around 70% of Tasmanians are overweight or obese, with health experts saying in most cases it comes down to healthy food being harder to access. But this dietitian says she has the remedy, recommending people order weekly veggie boxes and make the most of local markets.
We need people to be eating more vegetables, more fruits, more whole grain cereals, more lean meats and more dairy.
Lack of vitamin D is putting the population at increased risk of obesity, diabetes and some types of cancer. Although it's not all bad news, eating fatty fish and dairy products or getting out into the sun and fresh air for at least 15 minutes a day is said to make a big difference. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A number of keen Salvation Army supporters have taken to the road today to kickstart the annual Red Shield Ride. The group will cycle around Tasmania raising money for the Red Shield Appeal. The 5-day tour is expected to cover more than 660 kilometres, with donations helping the Salvation Army's important community work.
Obviously, we'd love more cyclists. The more cyclists we get involved, the wider the net goes and the more people can sponsor. And so, yeah, we'd love as many cyclists as we can get. People can still register online at the moment.
The group is aiming to raise $5,000. Donations can be made through the Salvation Army website.
Lauderdale has broken its 5-year curse at KG5. The side broke away in the third term to topple Glenorchy. Whilst in other matches, Clarence ran over Burnie, and in-form Hobart City Demons upset Launceston, and a woefully inaccurate North Launceston beat the Tigers.
Punters could have expected North Launceston to have the Tigers on toast by half-time, but the rain-soaked UTAS Stadium kept the Bombers behind until midway through the third term. A serious worry as the Tigers made the most of their inside 50s. The home side sprayed shots and only just held on. With 16 more scoring shots, North Launceston won by 16 points. Slippery conditions affected both sides at North Hobart Oval, but Launceston managed to control the play early on. Roller Kelly Mansell offered some push and shove before slotting the first of his majors, but a sloppy turnover proved costly at the other end. Ryan Matthews intercepting and then electing to go short with a heavy ball. His teammate delivered the goods. Both sides charged like bulls, knocking down all in their way, but Hobart City Demons stood taller, finishing 27-point winners. Lauderdale smashed into its contest at KG5 with a golden opportunity, the side confident after 3 wins in a row against a Magpies outfit missing key names. Dylan Fife took his opportunities, sneaking home the first of his 3 goals for the game. At half-time, there was only 1 goal in it, but then Glenorchy came crashing down, Lauderdale sending home 7 goals to 2 in the second half, the side enjoying its first win at the Oval since 2012. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
And last night, the Hobart Chargers men's team got off to a flyer against Dandenong and never looked back, the side getting up 117 to 82. Meanwhile, the Chargers women's team had a closer contest. They got over the line by 10 points. And the Glenorchy Knights are through to the final of the Lacquer Seljack Cup. They were 6-0 winners over Launceston City. Tasmanian cricketer Jackson Bird was all smiles this afternoon. The 30-year-old was the only Tasmanian named overnight in the Australia A squads to tour South Africa.
Stick to watching. I'll let the other guys do that. I suppose the last couple of years I've done quite well in the Sheffield Shield, but there's a test series on at the start of next year in South Africa, so it's a good chance for us guys to get over there and practice over in those conditions, and hopefully put our name forward for selection for that tour.
Pre-season starts on Monday and the tour begins on July 8.
Good evening. Well, a wet day around the state day, especially in the north. Some decent falls, 100 millimetres on Flinders Island in the last 24 hours. In fact, that was the wettest day in May for the island since 1969. Plus, the Bureau has issued a severe weather warning for heavy rainfall and a flood watch in the north and east tonight, with the SES having a number of calls in the northwest today and asking the public to please be prepared for these conditions. Now onto the weather. Hobart and Burnie 15, 13 for Launceston, 14 in Devonport, 18 was the state's top recorded in in King Island after that front passed. 15 today at St Helens, Campania and the Friendly Beaches. 13 at Strawn, Scottsdale, Medina and also Fingal, with 14 at Grove and also at Low Head. Now the high-def satellite sequence shows that cloud. Look at it streaming down the east coast of Australia and over Tasmania, bringing all that rain to us today. There's another cloud bound to our west associated with an approaching cold front. Close up in the state covered in cloud, the rain band clearing the northwestern King Island this afternoon. Now tomorrow a trough is to our east, extending up the east coast of Australia with a cold front to our west. Coastal waters and winds north to northwesterlies at 10 to 20 knots for most areas, reaching 20 to 30 knots in the east, swells to 3 metres in the east coast. There is a strong wind warning for the east coast tomorrow, and remember there is still a severe weather warning tonight for heavy rain in the north and east. Looks like early rain for Hobart, 18. Early rain for Richmond, 17. Ooze, 18 degrees. Launceston, Sharratu, 18. Fog in Devonport, 17. Deloraine, 16 degrees. Burnie, showers, 17. Strawn showers increasing, 16. Curry on King Island, 16 degrees as well. Sunny day on the east coast, St Helens 18, Swansea possible rain early 18, White Mark on Flinders 18 degrees as well. Looking on to Monday and mainly fine around the strait. Hooray! Rain forecast statewide again for us on Tuesday with showers statewide on Wednesday. A nice autumn day in Melbourne tomorrow and 20 degrees. Nice in Sydney 22 and a lovely day up in Brisbane 26 degrees. And currently a bit of rain around Hobart, 13, rain Launceston 12, clear on the coast. It looks like that rain's clearing away there, Rach.
Thank goodness we've had a bit. Thank you for that, Ken. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great evening. Good night.